Hello, it's Rob here and welcome to my video on how I go about installing and creating LED lights for my RC cars. In this instance I'm doing just front lights for my lunchbox. I nearly forgot what it was called then. Before we get into it, I'll run through what I'm going to be using. First off, we've got some of this, I think it's nylon based braided cable tidy, for want of a better word. We've got a couple of different thicknesses or diameters of heat shrink tubing. The lunchbox bumper took it off because it'd be easier. I've also made up some brackets to hold the LEDs in. I've also got some 5mm 3V LEDs, a couple of 2 or M2 screws. The lunchbox, although the bumper comes with light buckets, either mine didn't come, or if they did I lost them or can't find them anyway, the actual brackets to hold them. So I came up with this idea. It's 2 bits of 0.9mm aluminium plate, so I drilled a 5mm hole through one of them to hold the LEDs, because for some reason the LEDs just go straight through the light bucket. I don't know why, but hey, so as I say, I came up with this idea. So we've got the one plate with a hole in it, and the other one I made up as a slot, and that all goes over there, so that holds the LED in place. And then, as you can see, I've drilled another hole to line up with the screw hole, and then the 2mm screw with the washer will hold all that in place. And the LEDs themselves, as I say, they're 3V 5mm. I don't want great big long pins like that, so I've already cut this one down ready. And if I try and zoom in, it's not focusing. You could possibly see there I've got a little red mark that I've marked up which one's the positive, because they're both about the same length. And because it's an LED, light emitting diode, they will only function if wired up correctly and all of that. So there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the wiring with the LED in situ, so I'll put this bracket on and everything, and we can start some soldering. Okay, so I've prepped both surfaces. As you can see here, I've got 2 wires wound together, and I've soldered them ready. And I've also put a bit of solder onto the positive pin. I'm just going to put a bit of solder on my tip, like so, and then I'm hopefully going to solder it on for you just by touching it on. Whoops. Like so, it says hopefully. I'm not sure. Okay, so now we've got that one done, we can move on to the negative wire. And as you can see, I've got the 2 there that I need to wire up. And how I do this is simply cross them over. He says simply, it's never easy when you're on camera. And then twist them together like so. again, soldering iron, bit of tin, or in this case lead, and then again, excuse me if my head or anything gets in the way, you hold it on for a few seconds. Until the solder starts to melt, like so. I'm going to cut that down to size, something about there should be fine. Have a quick check. Yeah. Cut a bit of heat sleeving off. Not that it should really matter too much in this instance. And then I feed it over and I try and get it as far out the way as possible. Again, clean soldering iron, a little bit of solder. And again, and there we have the two lots of wires soldered on, so we can work these bits of heat shrink sleeving down, get the heat gun. And there we have the basis of the wiring, and to keep the ends of this nylon cable tidy, I can get the ends roughly in the centre, something about there like that. And then pull the edges over, just like that. And again, get my heat gun. And once we've let that cool down, we should be ready to continue. Okay, so the last couple of bits we're going to do are to join this spare servo connector that I happen to have lying around. I've cut the white signalling wire off and bared the wires again, ready for solder, and then I'm going to solder onto the positive this little 100 ohm quarter watt resistor. Clean my soldering iron again, just a dab of solder. We need this side of the wires, and because I haven't shown you my strippers for now, these are my adjustable wire strippers, and we just poke it in there, grab hold and pull. And the same. There we go. And then, because it's multi-core, give them a little twist, get all the wires twisted together. Whoops. Pop it in crocodile clip again. And then we can solder these two. To make adjustments for the resistor, so I'll take this one off and we can cut it back down, but I'll do that off camera. With the soldering complete, I've now just got to tidy up this wiring using that braided cable tidy again, so we'll get on and do that. And let's just hope I don't melt the body. But I think it is just about far enough away. So we'll let that cool down for a bit, and then I just need to test it. Right, so I've plugged this into my 27 megahertz receiver, which is only 2-channel, but there is a third one for a separate battery connection, so that if you've got a, I don't know, say nitro powered car in the olden days, you could plug a battery into that to power this up. But because the ESC is supplying power to it, it also, for some reason, supplies power to the battery connector. So we've got 6 volts on there, so all we need to do now is to test it. So we'll switch the power on, he says. There we go. And hopefully you can see that. Apologies for the whining, but I haven't got the transmitter on. So if I turn my light off, then you can see how bright it is. So there we go. I think I may well paint the backs of these just to stop the bleed, but other than that, that's the end of this video on how I fit LED lights. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, bye, and there we go, peace and quiet, woohoo!